What is going on, fishy friends? So, it's Friday, and it's New Fish Friday. Got a new box. Got a delivery from Mr. Ted Judy. I'm going to go ahead and do an unboxing and see if we can't get some new inhabitants in the fish room. New Fish Friday for me, but I probably won't get this video posted until, oh, I don't know, probably Sunday morning. Everything else is doing just about the same. Discus look good after that treatment. That is the guy with the gill issue. He's still got some kind of issue, but he doesn't look any worse. There's that bad gill. Otherwise, everything is the same in the fish room, and we'll do a quick unboxing. Alright guys, unboxing time. Let's see what we got. Oh, I know what we got. Alright, now, I've ordered from Ted Judy in the past, and I've always been very pleased with what I receive, as well as very pleased with how he packs his orders. Ted is definitely a professional guy and definitely knows what he's doing. So, very well insulated box with a couple of bags inside. These are, wow, these are tiny. Tiny, tiny, tiny. Apistogramma cockatoides. Wow, these things are minuscule. Holy cow, I didn't realize just how tiny they would be. I know Ted said they were juveniles. I mean, these are pretty much fry. Wow, oh wow. Alright, so I'll float these. I will acclimate them temperature-wise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I see at least 5 in the bag. I ordered 6. I'm sure Ted gave me a 6th. I can't believe how tiny those are. Same goes with these. We got 4 apistogramma. I think it's trifasciata is how you pronounce it. Again, super, super tiny fish. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I just didn't realize how young these fish were going to be. And some endler guppies. I think Ted split these into 2 bags. I got 10 of them all together. Looks like we got 5 and 5 in each bag. Never kept endler guppies before. I used to keep fancy guppies a long time ago, but I figured I'd give these endlers a try. Alright guys, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to acclimate them temperature-wise. Actually guys, maybe I lied. I think what I'm going to do is move these German blue rams out of this 20 hide down here, and I'm going to add them into that 29 gallon where there's a couple of other German blue rams. The 4 down here are the 4 that I got from Unite, and the others are the other tank over there. I think these are 3 over here that I had purchased from a local breeder a while back, a guy local to me in New York. And I'm going to go ahead and combine all the rams, and then what I'll do is I'm going to keep the apistocockatoides down here in this tank as a quarantine for a little while before I introduce them. Once I can get them to grow a little bit, I will probably add those new apistogramma cockatoides back into this tank, where there's that one female that was breeding a little while back, and where I lost the male. I'll keep checking in as I make some progress down here, guys. Alrighty, guys, so the rams that were in this tank have been netted out and are acclimating in the critter cage, critter cup, whatever the heck you call them, over here in the 29 gallon tank, where some of the other rams are already taking a peek. That particular ram I am actually getting a little concerned about. It's hanging out by itself. Might just be getting separated from the others. So there will be a total of 7 rams in this tank once they acclimate temperature-wise. And I will go ahead and do a big water change in this tank and drop in those new apistogramma cockatoides down there. And I'll put some of the others elsewhere. I got my beautiful little helpers here. This one's catching butterflies, and the little one's just watching. Alright guys, so the rams over here have been acclimating for long enough to be good to go. So let's go ahead and dump them in. Since this is water out of one of my fish tanks into another tank, I am just going to dump everything in. And I'm sure everybody's going to want to get to know each other. I've already lost count of who's who and who came out of what tank. But it looks like we got a male trying to show some dominance here. Trying to figure out who's who and what's what. Looks like that one's another male back there. Female up front here, I think, or maybe a tiny male. That one's a female over there, it looks like. And so far, so good. I believe that one up there is the one I was commenting before that I'm a tiny bit worried about. I believe that's a female. She keeps going to hang out at the top of the tank. In my experience, when I have one particular ram hanging out all by themselves at the top of the tank, they usually end up dying on me in about a week or so. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But all these guys are good. Finishing up the water change over here to get the apistos in there, and I'll keep filming. Alright guys, so these are the endlers down here in this 10-gallon tank. They have been in here acclimating long enough temperature-wise. So I'm going to go ahead, cut open the bags, dump them into nets, and get the fish in the tank. Alright, so what I'll do is I'm going to take a net, hanging over my bucket, take my bag of fish. Oh, I got the net that fell. I'll have to cut open the outside bag, get to the inside bag, pop the rubber band open, and we will do exactly that. Pick up the bag to make sure I didn't miss any fish. And get the net into the tank. Take a closer, oh boy. That's what you don't want to do, is drop the net full of fish on the ground, of course. Alright, 5 of them are in. Now, I honestly don't know much about endler guppies. These are supposed to be black bar endlers. I can see out of the 5 that were in that bag, 3 of them appear to have a black bar, and the other 2 seem very nondescript. I don't know if that's just the difference between male and female. I trust Ted Judy, and by no means do I think that maybe I didn't get what I was supposed to. I just don't exactly know much about these fish. There's a piece of fuzz floating in the tank. Alright, and we're going to do the same with the second bag. Cut open the outside bag. Get to the inside bag. Oh, my hands are all wet, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut this one. I just dropped a penny on the ground when I took my knife out of my pocket and it landed heads up. That's got to be a good sign, right? Tear open the bag. Pour the fish into the net. And guys, now the purpose of this is to make sure that the only thing I'm putting into my tank are the fish and not the water that they were shipped in. While I'm sure Ted Judy keeps his tanks pristine, these fish have been sitting in a bag for 48 hours for shipping, and by now have probably produced quite a bit of waste. If I'm counting correctly, I think there are 6 fish in this bag, meaning Ted sent me 1 extra, and every one of them is still alive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now I turn the lights off on the tank, just so these guys can acclimate and get used to my conditions. Let's see if I can't pull the camera off the tripod. So, like I said, that one has the black bar. Wow, look at all the color popping on that guy. That's beautiful. And then I guess those bigger ones, I'm really not sure. I didn't do enough research. I can honestly not tell you anything about these fish, other than they are freshwater fish known as endler guppies. They're live bearers. Endler guppies are a variant of guppies. They stay smaller than fancy guppies. I don't know, they're very popular right now, but I myself have never kept them. But you can see the rainbow sheen popping off some of those fish. Gorgeous. I don't know if I've ever seen these fish in person, honestly. So hopefully these guys thrive and do well and start breeding for me. And that's that. Alright, while we're set up over here, I am also going to open up the bags with the apisto trifasciata. I'm 99% sure that's how you say it. Again, Ted Judy double bagged these things. He's got a vacuum sealed bag on the outside and the fish containing the water, the bag containing the fish and the water on the inside, labeled with the tri for me so I know which is which. I'll cut open the outside. Pull out the bag. Open the bag. Now with fish that have been shipped, all the waste that accumulates in the bag, there's apparently some scientific evidence to prove that once you open the bag and it gets a rush of oxygen, it can apparently cause some ammonia to be created, or I'm sure that's not the correct scientific explanation. But the general consensus is get your fish out of the bag and into your tank ASAP, and I'm going to do exactly that. And again, just like with those endlers, I got the lights off on the tank to try to minimize any stress on the new fish. And we got 4 apisto trifasciata. It's too dark to really film them well. Hopefully they acclimate well to the tank. I just threw in one of those coconut huts and a clay pot just to give them something to retreat to if they feel the need to. And with all these new fish, I'm going to go ahead and do a quarantine procedure. I'm going to keep them all in their own respective tanks for the time being. I don't know if this is where they will stay, but I'll go ahead and treat for. I'll start by treating for parasites for Prazi Pro and Metro, and I'll probably also treat an antibiotic at the same time, similar to what I had done recently when trying to treat the discus over here. And similar to what many other people have suggested to me. Alright, the Apistogramma cockatoides have been acclimating. They've been floating. They should be temperature acclimated. I'm going to go ahead, open them up, and net them, and get them into the tank, just like the other fish, except I lost my net. Found it. Alright. Alright, out of bag, cut, inner bag removed, my hands are too wet again, inner bag cut, oh, I didn't leave myself enough room, put those over here, alright. So let's count as a release. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 doesn't want to come out of the bag. Come on, number 6. Jeez. These things are so tiny I can't even tell if they got into the tank. It's not in the net anymore, so it must be in the tank. Sponge filters is floating here. Of course, it's right in my way. I threw a coconut shell into here, and I threw a couple of cut up pieces of PVC, one of these ceramic apisto caves. Boy, these fish are tiny, tiny, tiny. I mean, these things, I wouldn't even consider them juvenile. They're pretty much fry. One of them's hanging out back there behind the filter. There's one up here. One way down low underneath the fake plant back there. And again, as I said before with that other tank, I'll go ahead and treat these all like quarantines. Alright guys, where was I? I had a little camera issue there. I'd actually just received a warning I had never seen before that the camera was overheating and therefore shutting down. Hopefully I didn't lose all that footage I shot before. I think I was talking about the fact that I was going to treat the 3 tanks where I have the new fish as quarantine tanks, do a anti-parasite treatment of Prazipro and Metroplex, and I'll probably dose some antibiotic as well. Otherwise, all the fish that I received today are in their new homes. These tiny Apistogramma cockatoides are theoretically in here somewhere. I don't even see them anymore, they're so tiny. The Apistogramma trifasciata are back here. There's one of them. There's the second one back there behind the heater. Number 3 and number 4 are in there too. These guys are also pretty tiny. Not nearly as tiny as the cockatoides are. And then all the endlers. These guys look like they're doing pretty well. They seem like they acclimated quite quickly. And they seem to be swimming around. And over this way, where I moved all the rams together, there was definitely a bit of a get-to-know-you period. It looked like a couple of males were kind of fighting for dominance. Got some footage of that hopefully I'll be able to splice in here. But it seems like everybody's doing perfectly fine now. Nobody seems to have created any territories necessarily yet. But hopefully there's enough line of sight breaks in here. I threw some extra driftwood in. I took the fake plant that was in another tank and threw it over here. So hopefully I'll see these fish doing pretty well. Maybe I'll get a pair or 2 to form out of here. Not even sure what the male to female ratio is for sure anymore. There's at least 2 males and at least 4 or 5 females. And hopefully we'll get a pair or 2 to form and we'll see what happens there. Alright guys, that's it. Comment, rate, subscribe. Let me know what you think about the new additions, the moving around, and the fish room in general. Later, guys.